Hey Connor, what's up?
What's up, Sam? How's it going?
Good. We're back after a little Thanksgiving hiatus. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was pretty low key. Um, uh, I went home and saw my fam and brought Isabel to see everybody, and we went over to my uncle's. But the highlight here is that my family, my mom's been like really into doing like 5Ks and stuff. So we ran a 5K on Thanksgiving. We were one of those families, and I don't know. 5K is 5K. It's not too bad. And I my family was like, oh well, Isabel just ran a half marathon back in May. Ask her if she wants to do it with us. And I asked her, and Isabel was like, yeah, of course. So I don't know. Everybody in my family is in pretty decent shape, and so we went into this thing. It was like, whatever, we're gonna jog 3 some miles, and then we're gonna go eat some food. And so woke up for that. I do the same thing every year where I'm just like, why the fuck do we do this? I'm pissed. I'm just cranky
So
and a generally unpleasant person.
this is your mom's idea.
Yeah,
Is anybody else like? It's not like your dad or any of your siblings are like wicked.
My
excited
dad
for
doesn't
this?
even run it. My dad takes the pictures. He doesn't run the race. But everybody else is pretty indifferent to it. I think my little sister likes it because she's big into running, and my little brother is a much better runner than everybody else. So, I mean, he doesn't really care. Yeah. So, and my sister, she was there with her fiance. She didn't run the race. So anyway, we get going in this thing, and it's whatever. I don't know. I've done it before, and so I knew the route. And we're running, and we get about halfway through, and I noticed that. So I gotta be kind of candid about this because this might embarrass Isabel, but we get about halfway through, and I had noticed that Isabel is huffing and puffing. And it's like, all right, well, maybe she's just a heavy breather. And
Okay.
so yeah, I don't know. I've run with her before, and we've ran, like multiple miles before, and she's had no problem with it. So I don't know. I think she told me that she hadn't really done any sort of training in between doing her half back in May and this. So it's like, all right, well, whatever. We're only like a little bit into this. And then, so we're getting towards, just past the 2 mile marker. And she taps me on the shoulder and she's like, Connor, I'm tired. And I'm like, well, we only got a mile left. It's all good. It's like, there's big old home stretch. Like, we'll be fine. And so my little sister, we were running with my little sister, and she goes, hey, I'm going to speed up now. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I'll see you at the end. I'm going to stick here with Isabel. So we were running, and we're running, and we get to the end. We finish the race. Great. I don't know. I'm like, do you want any water? Like, are you all right? And she's not really saying anything. And I see her, like, put her hand to her mouth and sort of do like a swallow. And I'm like, yeah, I'm like, uh-oh. Nothing happened. Nothing ended up happening. But she was like, man, I thought I was going to throw up.
But she didn't.
She didn't, though. She didn't.
Oh, well, that's good. That's
yeah,
good.
no, it was peaches and cream. Yeah, so that was pretty funny because we were like one, I don't know, 1 second away from having a scene on Thanksgiving in front of my whole family. Like, like Isabel's first time celebrating a holiday with my family, and like her throwing up at the end of the finish line would have been hilarious. She didn't think it was that funny, but I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, we don't do any turkey trots or any of that stuff in our household. I think my sister's done a 5K once, and nobody else has ever tried one. And she did one, and it's like, yeah, I did a 5K, didn't train for it at all. I was like, well, why'd you do it? It's like, well, I wanted the t-shirt and the beer. So that's our family. No, I swear to God, man, I overindulged at Thanksgiving.
How
like,
so?
Like, well, I went down like Wednesday night and was with the family all through the weekend. So I think that's the longest I've been home in like years, like for 4 days straight at home. And my dad, he gets real excited when I come home because that means he can empty out the freezer and cook all the stuff that's been sitting in there for a while. I think I put on like 7 pounds in 4 days.
Hell yeah, dude.
I just was like, walked on, I was like, oh, there's a scale in the bathroom here. I don't have a scale in my apartment. I don't weigh myself regularly, but I just like stepped on it, like, all right, whatever. And then it was like Sunday before I left, I'm like, ugh.
Oh boy.
I feel big. I feel like I've cultivated some mass here, but yeah, it was bad. I looked at it, I was like, oof, I gotta get out of here. So yeah, I just ate a ton. That's it, really.
Well,
anyways, yeah, I watched some football too. Boy, I didn't watch much of the Lions-Bears game, but that was bad.
Yeah, I really didn't either because it was just on peripherally at my uncle's house. But I caught enough of it to bug Isabel about it because she's a Bears fan. So at first the Lions were doing a decent. I went into it because I heard that Jeff Driscoll was out. He's put on IR, so David Blau was getting the start, and I was like, oh boy, that's no good. The tandem of David Blau and Bo Scarborough did nothing to inspire me. And I'm sure it didn't for many Detroit fans. But they hung in there for a while. I think they had a lead for the first half.
They scared me when because Chicago got that big kick return, then they went down the field, scored a touchdown. And when David Blau answers with a 75-yard touchdown on like his second attempt of the game, I was like, uh-oh. Oh, the Bears might be in trouble here.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. But yeah, it was kind of weird. They figured him out in the second half though, and I mean they kind of got David Blau's number, figured out what he was doing, and he didn't get much production out of the second half, and Bears ended up winning a close game. So that was that. Mitchell Trubisky looked halfway competent in the game. And, I mean, did you watch the game yesterday against the Bears-Cowboys?
Yeah, I was paying attention to it, and he looked good again. Another solid showing from Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, he looked much better than he has in recent memory here. He had at least one questionable throw. That pick that I think the call changed.
Yeah, or pinned him it was on the sideline and got pinned on the one then.
Yeah.
The other way. But
I don't know. I mean, it's well, it remains to be seen because it's obviously just a pretty small sample size between Detroit, Dallas. He was sort of on the upside, on the upswing going into the Detroit game, but I don't know, man. It's there's a lot of people that are back on Mitchell Trubisky's side, but I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think he's gonna, is there some positive regression to the mean, or what's happening here?
See, I think this is the best case scenario as a Packers fan, where he was bad for pretty much all season until like the last couple of weeks, and now he's going to show just enough here down the stretch to go in the offseason, and they're going to be like, you know what, maybe we got something here. I think we're going to stick with this for a little bit, for another year or two, and we're gonna re-up on his, we're going to pick up his 5th-year option or something, and no, I don't think this is market improvement. I think it's just. He has a couple of good games. I don't think it's regression to the mean. I think it's I think overall for the season we've seen that he's below average. Can stumble into some good games, though we saw that plenty last year. But overall, I think this is you show just enough to stay on the team and make them not cut your ass. But I don't think it's going to be, Mitch Trubisky's going to develop into this great player. I think we have a pretty good idea what he is at this point.
No, I agree wholehearted. I mean, he had some real fundamental problems with it, like his play this season. I checked out the Brett Coleman video that he made like a few weeks back, or many weeks back now, I think at this point. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that you can make significant and demonstrable like signs of improvement just by doing the bare minimum that's expected. I think like he was he was doing some pretty bush league stuff during some of the games, like missing wide open receivers, just staring down receivers, some stuff that doesn't even really fly in college football sometimes. So, I mean, I think at the bare minimum, just being like the, in a halfway effective game manager, when you have weapons like I guess even just one weapon, Allen Robinson, on your team, the guy can do some crazy stuff. And I think he's, a little underrated, and some people are forgetting just how good Allen Robinson is. But just having that guy on the team, being halfway competent, I think, can make you look pretty good. I mean, I think a lot of people were saying that about what's his name? Who was the quarterback at Penn? What did you say? No, not
Jameis
him.
Winston.
Not Jameis Winston. Who was the quarterback at Penn State when Allen Robinson was there?
Oh, was that was that the guy who played for the Raiders for a little bit?
Yep. God, what is his name?
Yeah. I think he's in the XFL now.
Okay.
Well, let's see. Goodness. Allen Robinson, he played at Penn State. What years was he at Penn State? Live research. Joe Paterno, no. Oh, I just saw it. Matt McGloin.
I don't think that's who I'm talking about.
Damn it. Trace McSorley. Was there one in between there?
There's one in between there.
What year is this?
I'm going to his Wikipedia right now.
2011 Penn State.
Christian Hackenberg.
Oh, AAF.
That's who I'm thinking about.
Yeah,
baby.
Him.
Yeah. Christian Hackenberg had Allen Robinson to thank for being drafted at all.
Well, same thing at Texas A&M. Johnny Manziel had Mike Evans.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, yeah, not to get like super tangential with this, but I mean, I think we're in agreement there that I think it'd be hilarious if Mitchell Trubisky plays halfway decent down the back end here. Bears miss the playoffs, but decide to re-up on Mitch Trubisky because, they traded up for him.
Ending on a high note.
Yeah, exactly. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing might happen with Jameis Winston, our favorite quarterback.
Oh, man.
They'll string together a couple good games, only turn it over once or twice in each game, and then Bruce Arians will look at that and say, you know what, maybe we can salvage this yet.
Dude, Jameis Winston is such a funny quarterback.
He's really the gift that keeps on giving.
It's so funny, man. It's so polarizing because he's a pretty good fantasy quarterback, but in real life he's like a terrible quarterback. It's like it's really funny. Like the fact that you can play him in your fantasy lineup and get like decent production out of him, but like he is just like total like meltdown mode in real life. Like 450 yards, 5 interceptions. Like that was a regular stat line for a couple of weeks, I think. Like what?
Yeah.
Like, he's such an outlier in the interceptions column for quarterbacks. Like, it blows everybody out of the water. He's just so far ahead of everybody else.
And you know what the funny thing is with him throwing as many interceptions is, like, he's not even close to the record for interceptions in a season. It's like, yeah, George Blanda, who was a Hall of Famer, threw 42 in 1962. And Jameis is at significantly less than that. He is at, through 12 games, he has thrown only 20 interceptions. So he's not even halfway there to the NFL record.
Not going to get there.
And if my NFL history is right, they were probably only playing 14 games in 1962 or something.
Man.
Well, anyways, on the other side of that Bears game, Cowboys, Jason Garrett's done, right?
Yeah, you got to think so. I mean, Jerry Jones was given a lot of talk.
Oh boy,
as the
did
Cowboys
he ever
have
talk
been,
today?
Yeah, he was pretty pissed. I mean, it's really funny, though, because in that division, they're still a division leader. They've lost 3 straight games, and they still remain first in their division.
Yeah, we still have the chance for the losing record division winner.
Yeah.
Which last time that happened, we got Beastquake out of it, so it was not all bad.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that the Cowboys have a decent team. It just, goodness gracious. I don't even know. I mean, I think people are all saying that the problem is Jason Garrett, and they're probably right. But it just doesn't make sense to me why this team is just falling apart at the seams. Like Ezekiel Elliott has just not been very productive this season. Mari
Dak
Cooper
has been very productive, but not enough to win some games. He probably should have won.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like they have the recipe for success. High-octane offense, pretty stout defense, excellent secondary. It seems like the pieces are there. Offensive line is probably still one of the best in the NFL.
Linebacker core is probably one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah.
When healthy.
Right. So, I don't know, man. It's tough to see. I mean, a lot of people were blaming some of these games, like, some of these games where, Zeke is getting like 12 touches.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's not enough.
No. But, yeah, I don't know. I think probably he's probably done. I mean, people last year were all over Jason Garrett before they got hot, and then, they went to the playoffs and blah, blah, blah. Traded for Amari Cooper.
We'll watch, and that's what's probably going to happen here. They're gonna limp into the playoffs because unfortunately somebody has to win the NFC East, and then they'll win a game. They'll beat whoever ends up being the 3 seed. Or I'm sorry, no, they play the 5 seed because they end up being the 4. So, that's right, because you have all those doomsday scenarios where it's like you have whoever is the wild card team from the NFC West, either the Seahawks or the Niners, who are probably going to win 10 or 11 games, going to play a losing record team in Dallas. The atrocity that is that much better team who has to go on the road in the playoffs.
Yeah, it's so weird, man. The NFC is so fucked up.
Because you have the NFC West that's super top heavy, and the NFC East, which is not
terrible.
Also, the NFC North is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, us and the Vikings and the Bears even are still on the hunt, technically.
And then the South is just the Saints.
You're right. By and far.
Well, yeah, that division's already clinched with 4 games to go.
Yeah. Not even close.
Not good for the rest of the NFC South.
Yeah, well, speaking of that division, the Panthers fired Ron Rivera the other day.
Yes, they did.
That was something that I think we did talk about it. We did say that he was one of the coaches that could be in the hot seat this season.
And then, that was before Kyle Allen really started going. I think that was, if I remember right, that was pretty early in the year when Cam Newton was still playing and looking very old and hurt. But yeah, I thought for a while there, I thought he was actually going to save his job with how well Kyle Allen, when he was rattling off a few wins right when he first started starting. But no.
And then he started being bad.
Then Kyle Allen regressed to the mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, oh my God. Yeah, for a while it seemed like they were, I mean, yeah, they seemed to have something with their offense, like figured at least like a contingency plan.
Well, they figured out how to get the ball to Christian McCaffrey, give him like 30 touches a game.
Yeah, right. I mean, Christian McCaffrey has just been a god this season. But, I mean, DJ Moore he kind of exploded onto the scene as well this season. He's been a great wide receiver for the Panthers. Curtis Samuel's no slouch either. He's been doing a lot of stuff. I think it's really the Panthers' defense, though. I mean, when Ron Rivera being a defensive-minded coach, like their defense has just fallen apart. I think they're the team, in the little bit of fantasy research that I do, they're the team that's allowed the most points scored by opposing fantasy running backs this year, by and large. Like, I think that, oh my goodness, like they're allowing touchdowns at a rate that like nobody's even close to, which is hard to believe when you have teams like the Cincinnati Bengals and the Miami Dolphins playing the way that they are.
Yeah,
but
and I think you hit it right on the head there. Where if you're a defensive coach and defensive-minded head coach, which Denver is, and your defense is bad, well then, what would you say you do here? What do you really bring? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to like all the NFL insider folks seem to really have a really strong opinion of Ron Rivera. And I'm sure he's a great guy and all, but if you were another team that was looking for a head coach, are you getting real excited about Ron Rivera?
I mean, a lot of people are saying that he's going to find a job immediately, and I mean, maybe.
That's what they said about Mike McCarthy too.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mike McCarthy is going to be coaching somewhere next year.
Possibly the Panthers.
Maybe. I mean, really, dude, Mike McCarthy should have been hired for the Jets. Like, Adam Gase is so fucking bad.
Dude, I do not. The Jets team, we're bouncing all over the place, but whatever. That Jets thing, I don't get it because they blew out the Raiders, and then they lost. They lost to the Bengals the next week. Like, what the hell? What are you doing?
It doesn't make any sense, man. I've been paying attention to some Jets ball because one of my fantasy assets is on the Jets. So, paying attention even peripherally to like what goes on there and like watching fucking New York Jets football on the TV is like abysmal. It's a terrible experience. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? So it doesn't make any sense. It's like, you go out there and the game plan there doesn't seem to be a plan. It's like you have Sam Darnold and it's like, well, what can Sam Darnold do? I don't know. Nobody really knows. Like he hasn't really been able to play at any of his strengths. From what I could tell in his draft profile, he was supposed to be an all right pocket passer with above average accuracy, had some issues with pocket presence, which I mean is haunting him in with no pun intended since that New England Patriots game when that little clip of him saying that he was seeing ghosts sort of came onto the scene. But despite all of that, I mean, he's just been struggling with, who to count on, I guess, for a while. Jamison Crowder was his crutch to lean on. Right now, it looks like it's Ryan Griffin. But I don't know, man. It's a puzzling thing. And after you pay somebody like Le'Veon Bell, what is it, like 50? What did he get? 50 mil?
Sure.
Something like that. Big old contract. To utilize him the way that they're utilizing Le'Veon Bell, I mean, it's just like, what are you doing? You giving him 12 touches a game, then you're giving Bilal Powell 6 touches? Why? Why?
Yeah, I've had the good fortune of watching very little Jets football. I watched a little bit of them against the Browns week 2, and then a little bit of that when they tried to piss away that game to the Cowboys. That they
Oh my
won.
God.
Yeah, and from a fantasy perspective, this is hell. This is fantasy hell. I think I learned that lesson last year. I very briefly dipped my toe into the Robbie Anderson pool.
Oh my God.
I think it was very much a reactionary play. I think he had a big game sometime last year. I'm like, well, I'll roll the dice and see if he can do that again. And he did nothing. He got me a fat 0. So at that point, I've sworn off the Jets pretty much from fantasy. So fortunately, I learned that lesson last year. They got the Dolphins coming up this week, which I don't know what you do with that.
Nobody does.
Who the hell's going to win that one? Dolphins look like they're hot right now.
They're going to fucking win, man. They're going to skeet to a fucking 7-9 final record. Finish middle of the pack.
And have no future, have no plan, have nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well, they got
probably do
draft
something
picks.
with all those picks, regardless of where they are.
They have a bunch of middle first-round picks.
Yeah, right. No quarterback, but maybe there's 50 quarterbacks in the next draft. So,
there's 100 wide receivers.
Well, there you go. I mean,
So, yeah.
well, you don't need one because you got Devontae Parker.
Oh, he's just been balling. Actually, the Dolphins might get to 6-10. They got the Jets, Giants, Bengals, and then Patriots.
Oh my God!
So those are 3 winnable games.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. Yeah. We'll see. They're a confusing team, but you're right. They're looking hot right now in comparison, especially to some of these other teams like the Bengals. Ugh, another team that just.
Well, they have a commanding 1-game lead for the number 1 pick for the Joe Burrow or Chase Young pick.
My goodness. You know what I heard? So I was listening to a podcast today on they were speculating on so AJ Green has not been he practiced I think a little bit during one of the weeks and then he immediately went back to not practicing and not playing in any games. Hasn't played in a single game this year. Got injured in the preseason and had ankle surgery, I think. And hasn't played a single game, but the Bengals didn't put him on IR. And so a lot, they were why would the Bengals do this? Are the Bengals, are they dumb? Is, the organization really that poorly run? But one of the guys, he was like, you know what? Maybe the Bengals aren't stupid. Maybe they did this because if they put him on IR, then they have to bump somebody up to that 53-man roster and pay him. So maybe they were just
it's a cost-cutting measure that he's inactive every week but still on the roster.
Yeah, well, because he still collects a check on IR, but yeah. I don't know.
But they're not paying somebody else then.
Yeah, right. I don't know. It seemed really dumb, but maybe, who knows?
If we only play with 52 guys, then we'll be sure to get the number 1 pick.
Oh my God, yeah. I don't know. He was stupid, but let's see. Well, I guess before we get too tangential with talking about every single team in the NFL, let's go on. Green Bay versus the New York Giants. Green Bay dismantles the New York Giants in New York. A game that I think a lot of people kind of predicted would be an Aaron Rodgers bounce back game, sort of similar to the game that they played against the Raiders earlier this year. Yeah, they exploded onto the scene kind of predictably. And New York really didn't have an answer for anything because they were missing a lot of key players. Evan Ingram was out. I think Sterling Shepard, he was active.
Yeah, he was in there a little bit. He did some stuff.
Yeah, I think Golden Tate
no, he didn't play.
Was inactive in the concussion protocol. Saquon Barkley is still, he seems to be nursing some remnants of the high ankle sprain. So
It's the
Anywho,
Giants. They're last in the NFC. They're bad.
They're real bad. So, I don't know. Pretty good showing, and I mean, there's not a whole lot else to really say about it because I think that we're going to have a similar conversation, knock on wood, after the Packers play the Redskins at home here.
Yeah. I mean, that my big takeaway. Well, I didn't have a big takeaway from the Giants game. It was, well, Giants are bad, the Packers are good, and they just did what that they're supposed to do and just took care of business and were fine. They didn't look great, but they were good. Nothing to be learned. Nothing further to be gleaned off that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people from the Packers side of things are looking to see who that guy is behind Davante Adams. And it's looking more and more like Allen Lazard is emerging as the number 2. He's stealing snaps from Marquez Valdes-Scantling. He doesn't get a ton of targets each game, but I mean, nobody really does behind Davante Adams. So I think that's the eternal question that people have kind of been asking since the beginning of the season is who's behind Davante, who's reliable behind Davante. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things develop. Allen Lazard's a big boy.
Yeah.
But
him making some plays down the field is fun. But yeah, that's the whole thing where I just mentioned, like, I was thinking about this the other night, like, man, this draft coming up, like Packers draft, like this is getting way ahead of things, but just like, I want receivers, I want middle linebackers, I want offensive line. Like I already got my list, my Christmas list, so to speak, set for the Packers draft. And like wide receivers, like so exciting because it's like, man, there's gonna be so many receivers in this draft because you got like 4 dudes from Bama, you got like 2 or 3 dudes from LSU, you got CeeDee Lamb out there. Like you get any one of like these dudes, plus all the other like known like guys that are gonna be good that I just that aren't just dominant every week in college. So.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that it could be like last year where there were all these receivers that were projected to go in the first round, and then first one didn't go until real late. DK Metcalf. Or he was first, right? No, I don't think so.
Was it Hollywood Brown? Was he first?
He was first. And everybody else went in like the later rounds, I think. I don't remember. Anyway.
Speaking of receivers, remember Equanimeous St. Brown? Remember him?
Oh yeah, he's been on injured reserve.
Oh.
Kind of out of the picture.
Oh, I thought he was just like inactive, like a healthy scratch.
I think I forgot what he did, but he injured something either in the preseason or like one of the first weeks. Yeah.
I guess you're right. That does sound familiar.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm the same way. I wouldn't be super jazzed if the Packers used a first-round pick on a receiver unless one of those top-tier guys managed to fall real far.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb sitting there. That's looking good. Or Jerry Jeudy or one of the other Bama guys.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that we still have technically, a new-ish receiver on our team with Jay Sternberger. He really hasn't played at all because he was hurt. So I'm with everybody else where I'm like, we need some sort of plan behind Davante Adams, and it's very clear that we're now. I mean, somebody was talking about this in one of the forums, like we're really banking on past production from people like Geronimo Allison, where he had great production in 2016 season, and then he was hurt, I think, the next season, and he's kind of he's been fine, but he hasn't done anything out of this world since then. He was he really came onto the scene when 2016 happened, and it was just that year.
Well, yeah, that's kind of my it's great to be optimistic about Allen Lazard, but it just might be a similar situation where,
right?
Yeah, I don't know. There's Davante, and somebody else has got to catch something. So he's just the guy that, I'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, Right. It's kind of like, well, I don't know. Somebody's bound to catch a ball. like it's got to happen.
To catch something.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's tough because I think that, I mean, obviously hindsight's 20/20, but I mean, it really makes you wonder if the Packers would have held on to somebody like Randall Cobb for another year. Obviously, that like even right now, we can look back and see pretty clearly why we didn't pay him. With with all the receivers that we had drafted, all the guys that we had lined up. I mean, it seemed like a silly move to pay this guy when we had so much new talent coming onto the scene.
Yeah, you're banking on one of them like doing something. And well, you got one that's doing something is Alan Lazard.
Yeah, right.
Not who you
undrafted guy.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it's tough because I mean, as the free agent signings happen, I'm glad the Packers didn't necessarily shell out tons of cash for somebody like Emmanuel Sanders or Mohamed Sanu or whatever, Robbie Anderson.
The Josh Gordon sweepstakes.
Yeah, right. Or that. I mean, that would have been interesting. Just the waivers thing, I guess, is a little different, but I don't know. I mean, it's I think I trust what our GM's doing. I mean, I don't know the free agency picture for the Packers, but I don't think a ton of people their contracts are up quite yet. So I don't know.
We got all offseason to talk about that, but
yeah, right. I mean, the season isn't even done yet.
But they're not winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of like buzz articles that go around where it's like, are the Packers ready to play big boy football? And I mean, in a short answer, no. Like, if you watch any of those, I mean, we don't have to talk about it, but we just watch the Packers get, I mean, their buttholes rammed by the 49ers just the other week. 49ers are looking like the real deal. The Ravens look even more like the real deal.
Yeah, they're the realest dealist.
Yeah. And then, the Chiefs are still, wild card. Patriots are still obviously a factor.
Texans are hot.
Yeah, Texans are feeling it.
Titans are
Ryan Tannehill is rallying.
Yeah. The AFC is fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that the Packers obviously have a lot of, like, I'm liking what I'm seeing, and, like, I love the pass rush, man. The pass rush, like, the Smith signings, like, such an immediate impact. It's awesome to see, but, I mean, there's still, in the beginning of the season, there was a lot more optimism, I think, and now we're seeing some things like our secondary isn't quite as elite as I think everybody originally thought. Got some liabilities there. You know who I haven't thought about in a minute? You remember Josh Jackson?
Oh yeah, I do remember him.
Where did that guy go?
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't play. Josh Redmond is better.
Will Redmond.
Yeah. Well,
which is
there you go.
Yeah, right.
That says it all, huh?
Not great. But anyway, yeah, that's that. I don't know.
Cupcake game against the Redskins on Sunday, so.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Packers' rest of the season is not terrible. They play the Redskins, and then they play Chicago at home. And they play Minnesota at Minnesota.
Yeah, that's the big one right there. That'll probably end up being for the division.
Yeah, Minnesota's looking, I mean, better. There's some scary things happening with Dalvin Cook. If Dalvin Cook goes down, I mean, that would be a huge hit because he's been ultra productive for the Vikings this year. Adam Thielen's also been nursing some sort of strange injury. He's been just hasn't been active in the last 6 weeks.
And then our favorite defensive player, Xavier Rhodes.
Oh my God, dude!
What happened?
Holy shit! Did you? Oh my God! Who did they play last? Who's the
Seahawks.
last? Okay, did you see that David Moore, the long touchdown that he just got burned on?
Oh yeah, where he's like, the play's not even over. He's looking back like, what the hell? He just opened up and let him go right this way.
It's so bad, man.
That one, okay, that was obviously a blown coverage. He was expecting to have safety helper. He was expecting something. He just didn't get toasted 1-on-1. It looks way worse than it probably. Well, it's not, I guess it's not good, but the optics of that are just really bad.
Yeah, right. Clearly there was some miscommunication because he was super pissed on the sideline and he's getting yelled at by the coach, and Xavier Rhodes obviously thought there was something else that was supposed to happen. But man, yeah, when he's running to try to quote unquote catch up to David Moore, it's like, man, this dude's running like he's got ankle weights on. He's got sandbags attached to his feet. He's so slow. And then I was reminded that Xavier Rhodes he's only 29. He looks like he's I make fun of Tramon Williams a lot, and pretty unfairly, I'd say, because he's not even that bad, and he's 35. But man, Tramon's looking way more agile than Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah, man.
Holy shit. Yeah, he fell off a cliff this season. It's terrible. He's not going to be with the Vikings next year.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
You do. It's really fun. All the memes now, you get a fun catchphrase like Darrelle Revis, where Revis Island, and then Revis was bad.
Yep, construction's done. What? Uh-oh. Oh boy. Well, I think we lost Connor, so right now it's going to be the Sam show for a little bit. Anyways, as he was saying, the Vikings got some stuff coming up. And he's back. Hello. What the hell? Oh, hey, man. I can't hear you. Well, look who's back.
Did the recording stop?
No, we're still going.
Oh, good. All right, it
Shit's
restarted
all in.
on mine. Sorry about that, everybody. I don't know what happened. My mic just turned off.
Well, I was vamping to give him some good content because I was about the Vikings and stuff.
Yeah, I could still hear you. I was still there. I couldn't, my mic, it wasn't picking up anything, so I just refreshed my page.
Well, welcome back.
Anyway, regularly scheduled programming. Yeah, we'll see. It'll be an exciting matchup. And then I guess to round out what I was saying about the Packers' schedule, they play the Detroit Lions for the last game.
That'll be an easy win.
Yeah, but Detroit's looking real bad, and they've just suffered too many injuries.
Looking real tasty.
Yeah, so, one way or another, I think the Packers are, just by strength of schedule, primed to make at least a push into the playoffs. We're seeing where some teams shake out. I think right now we're expected to be seeded in the third seed.
Yeah, that third spot looks pretty good. You give the NFC West winner and the Saints 1 or 2. Let them figure that out. Kind of piss that opportunity to get that first round bye with that San Francisco game, but whatever. This is all in the grand scheme of things. This is all still way ahead of schedule compared to the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that third spot looks good. A home playoff game, wild card weekend against whoever the 6th seed is, which will probably be the Vikings.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now, and so that wouldn't be the worst matchup in the world to have a home playoff game against the Vikings. People would show up and show out for that.
Yeah. Well, I guess, and then on the other side, it could be the other way where Packers end up being the 6th seed, and you go to Minnesota, which wouldn't be good. But
yeah, right. We could totally shit the bed. But hopefully not. That's not the idea. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's football, baby.
Yeah. Still got a lot of season left. What we don't have a lot of season left in, though, is fantasy football. So the playoffs are set in our league, and Sam didn't make the playoffs.
Missed it by the slimmest of margins. It was I tied for that final 6th playoff spot, but the tiebreaker being your scoring for I missed the cut by let's see here 52 points.
Yeah.
Rats. Almost had him.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny to think that those bottom 5, like if anybody would have just, not dropped a game somewhere. Like you were kind of saying it with that game against Cordell being your Super Bowl, and I think you were right. Like that would have been the game of destiny.
I look back through the season and all these games, like some of the earlier ones where I was scoring only 80 or 90 points. I was like, well, that did it. And there's a game where I scored 160 or something and lost to Cordell early in the season.
Yeah.
Well, that would have done it.
Right. I think I looked at your schedule too. You had a couple games where you just got pitted against some high-scoring individuals.
Yeah, I kind of just ran into a buzzsaw. So it is what it is, and it's not what it's not. So I'm playing not to be last place, so that'll be great.
Yeah. I don't know. So
don't need to worry about me anymore.
That's right. No need to worry about Sam. No need to worry about a lot of people anymore, which is kind of nice. There are a lot of teams that aren't in anymore that I was just worried about for the sake of wild card factor. Cordell and I played in week 13 there and had the who's the shittier good team bowl. That was extraordinary. He beat me 104 to 100, which is just great.
No.
It was bad, man. I was watching the points roll in, and it was oh man, we're both neck and neck, but nobody's scoring any. It was oh well, we're neck and neck because Tyreek Hill isn't doing anything, but also Michael Thomas isn't doing anything, but also it was all these powerhouse dudes were just having terrible games. So that was that. Whatever. It really didn't matter because we were both getting a first round bye anyway. So it didn't matter who won.
Those games are those weeks are the worst when I'm sitting down watching the noon games. I got the fantasy app up. I'm okay, well, we got a reception here for this guy, a reception there for that guy, 10 yards for this guy. And it's okay, I got 20 points. It's all right, well, it's still the first half. And then the second half rolls around, and it's all right, well, now the fourth quarters are starting on all these games. Oh, shit. Fuck. Somebody do something.
Yeah, this progress bar thing for this sleeper app is terrible. I hate it.
Oh, don't you just hate it? Yeah.
It's first it's it's the most volatile thing ever. As soon as your guy scores a touchdown, it's my percentage to win just increased by 40%.
Yeah.
But Also, yeah, if your team is like off to a real slow start, it'll immediately just say you have like negative 2% chance to win, buddy.
You're gonna die.
Pretty much, like, so anyway, yeah, we're in the it was a funny little thing that happened in our league. So one of the guys, Ben, so it was. Let me just tell a story of how this happened for me. So I woke up. It was Wednesday, so the day after waivers cleared, and I'm getting ready in the morning. And what I usually do is my bathroom's right next to where my bed is, so I roll out of bed and like pretty much roll. It's like one motion into the bathroom. And I take my phone with me, and while I'm washing up, I usually put on like a podcast just to listen to while I'm getting ready in the bathroom, and when I'm like getting my breakfast ready, I just listen to a podcast. And it's been fantasy football, so I was listening to it, and they mentioned waivers, and so I was like, oh shit, that's right, waivers cleared. So I went and checked the Sleeper app, and I was like, 24 new waiver claims were processed, and I was like, holy shit, a really active week. Like, I don't think there's ever been so many waiver requests before. So I was like, oh, things must be really heating up in the league. And so I go to check it, and it's like, did I get all my guys? And I was like, yep, got all my guys. And then I'm looking down, and it's like, wait a minute. Oh. And I'm looking at some of these people, and Ben's dropping Ezekiel Elliott. And it's like, fuck.
What?
Yeah. So did you see what this whole thing that happened?
No, I don't have notifications turned on for all this shit, so it's just like all this stuff just kind of happens, and I like find about it like I haven't like played the waiver wire in a little bit.
Okay.
'Cause I just forget about it, and then I roll up on like Thursday or Friday. I'm like, oh, who's on a bye this week? And it's like I'm Frank. I go in for the scraps.
Saving that waiver priority. Anyway, yeah, so he got rid of his entire team and picked up all these. He picked up like Steven Sims from the Washington Redskins. This Vincent, I don't know, somebody from Vincent with a Y from the New York Jets. And I'm looking at these people, and it's like, oh man, he pulled a roster dump, and so just sent a message, and I was like, so I'm just going to put all these people back on your roster because we can't just have, like, all these people waiting on the waiver wire for people to pick up. So yeah. So I just put them all back on his roster, removed all the people that he picked up, and it was just like, that was that. And then he sent a message, and he was like, well, it wasn't a total dump because I was going for people that were getting more snaps and high upside players. And so it was like, well, all right, man. I mean, it was a total dump. That's the end of it. Yeah, like, you can't tell me that Vincent with a Y from the New York Jets is a high upside player who's demanding snaps, or Steven Sims, who is that man? So
I know who Ezekiel Elliott is.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, whatever. And I was like, well, that was like really strange because I don't think at the time. So when I was sorting all this stuff out, I messaged him, and I was like, you can still make the playoffs, right? Like, it's like not even totally like you're right there, along with 5 other people. So I put all the people back on, and he played Alexis this past week, and he won. He won the matchup, but he missed the playoffs by 4 points. So that was that. That was just, it was really funny how it happened. He was kind of mad.
Yeah, I'm my 53 or whatever that I missed out by on is well, at least I was like a week or multiple games of good scoring behind. I wasn't like a touchdown away.
Yeah, it was like, for you to get into the playoffs, it was like your team had to have like a 200-point week, and then somebody else had, like, pretty much everybody else had to win, but just, like, win in, like, a really shitty way.
Yeah, I was. This is like the week 17 thing where I was mathematically alive, but I needed to A, win, which I did, and then I needed help. I needed everything else to go my way, and it did not.
Right.
All the results turned out. I just didn't score 250 points.
Yeah. Or the other teams didn't just, like,
Score
be
50.
terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's that. And now the playoffs are here. We'll see how things shake out. I don't know. Well, yeah. I mean, that's that. We'll see.
You're on a bye this week, so low stress.
Yeah, I don't have anything to worry about, which is kind of nice because there's, like, all these, like, notifications, like Le'Veon Bell has an illness and hasn't been practicing all week, and it's like, oh, well, fuck that guy. Who cares?
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. Or these teams that have, like, terrible matchups, and it's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, I mean, all that I'm really doing is I trying to hedge my bets, and I picked up Rashad Penny and Alexander Madison, and we're going to see if one of those lottery tickets blossoms into a beautiful butterfly, but I don't know. It's really a crapshoot at this point. Everybody's roster is, like, pretty good, and we'll see who makes it. Whoever gets hot, man.
Yeah.
But that's that. I don't know. I was looking at some of these other leagues that people do. Some of these, like, 20-team dynasty leagues.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
That's where your Vincent with a Y might come in.
Yeah, right. Like, looking at these teams and their rosters, it's like, who are these people? And in dynasty leagues where it's like, you're trying to stash dudes that it's like, oh, well, he's not playing well right now, but, next year.
Right.
Yeah. So, that's that. You have anything else to talk about? I don't know. I kind of ran out.
You want to talk about the Badgers?
Oh, yeah.
They look pretty good against Minnesota.
Yeah.
That game, but with that game and then the Giants-Packers game on Sunday, we had 2 snow games this weekend, which was fun. A nice little visual treat. But, yeah, I don't know. Badgers were good, man. They looked a little shaky at the start, and then they were just much better than Minnesota at the end of that thing.
Yeah, it was a real statement win, and one that the College Football Playoff Committee clearly thought was too.
Resume builder.
Yeah, bumped the Badgers up to number 8 over Penn State. So right now the Badgers are looking like, as long as they don't get totally dismantled by Ohio State, which is entirely possible, they have a decent shot at going to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Well, let's not sell ourselves short here. Right now, Oregon's leading Utah. So if number 5 Utah loses and Georgia loses and the Badgers are really like blow out Ohio State and the Big 12 championship game is just kind of meh. I mean, there's still the slightest opportunity for them to jump the catapult all the way from 8 up to 4.
Yeah, this is the Sam Beaneman fantasy football situation, but for the Wisconsin Badgers.
Yes.
Not only do the Badgers need to win big, but everybody else needs to be terrible.
Yes, and right now Utah is doing their part.
Yeah, so just need a few more teams to do that. What if, though, man? What if the Wisconsin Badgers just annihilated the Buckeyes? It would be total chaos.
Yeah, well, because then Ohio State would probably still get in, but they'd get moved down to, I don't know, the 2 or the 3. You would think Wisconsin would go to 4, this doomsday scenario, and you'd probably have LSU 1, Clemson 2.
Oh boy, that would be such a mess.
So you have the Badgers playing LSU.
What's Oregon ranked?
13.
Okay.
They lost. They got 2 losses. Auburn and Arizona State, that big upset win.
Oh, right. That's right. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be weird.
This it's a trap. I've gone down. I've made the trek down to Indy twice, and I've both times going in like, okay, yeah, we got a shot at this one. let's see what happens. And it's never worked out well. You've seen them win down there.
Yeah, dude. Last time they won, I was there against
They put up
Powerhouse
70 on
Nebraska.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been a fun one.
Yeah, it was a. I'm glad that I had a positive memory from Lucas Oil Stadium because, man, that next one was yikes. And then the next one for you was the plague.
Yes. Yep. So I had 2 bad experiences down there for different reasons.
Did you get sick on that trip?
No, I didn't. I had a moment on the bus on the way back where I was like I'm not a germaphobe, but I was like feeling very germophobic when 20 other people around me were throwing up on a bus that I'm stuck on for 6 hours at 4 in the morning.
What a terrible! Oh my god, I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
I got the willies when we were living together that one time, and you were puking. Like, oh
yeah,
goodness.
The other time, yeah, that was a rough 2 winters when I got the flu twice. I had like regular flu the year before when I slept for like 2 days straight.
Yeah,
and then that was not fun. And then the next year where I threw up like a dozen times, like on the hour, every hour.
Man, yeah, that was insane. Just when you thought you had nothing left to throw up.
Nope.
Wrong.
Another one. That is the greatest thing about being out of school and being in the workforce is I have not gotten sick in like 2 years now. It's awesome. Being just like consistently not sick is awesome.
I agree. I mean, I was feeling pretty. This week, actually, I felt like I got a little bit of a cold.
Yeah, like I woke up one morning like I think last winter and I had a sore throat for like 2 hours, and that was it. Then I drank like enough water and I was good.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I certainly haven't felt like I was exposed to like the flu or anything because I'm in contact constantly with like 200 other people.
Using a shared keyboard and sitting in a big lecture hall that other people sit in all the time and sneeze and cough on shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah. Just like a breeding ground for germs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, I don't know.
Badgers by 1 million this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Grateful that the Axe is back, but got to temper your expectations against Ohio State.
Yes. Yep. No. Like in all seriousness, if they hold them under 50, if the Badgers hold Ohio State under 50, that'll be a nice little consolation prize.
Yeah, I mean, like we said at the beginning of this whole thing, if the Badgers can just avoid getting totally destroyed, and keep the game reasonably close, I think I forgot what the line was. It was like 2 touchdowns or something, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing: was in that first game this year, that first half they played them tight. It was 10-0 at halftime, and they scored that touchdown early in the second half after they blocked the punt, and it's 10-7, and they're in it. They're very much in it. Up until that point, and then after that, they were not in it at all.
Yeah,
and ran out of town. But I don't know if they can just do more of that stuff, and then some of that vertical passing game stuff we saw from Jack Cohn last week. If he can do that again, that'd be great. But I also understand that Ohio State is better than Minnesota.
Yeah, and A.J. Taylor went out with a season-ending injury.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, that's no good.
I still have Danny Davis and Quintez.
Yep. Yeah.
Jazz Peavy still on the team? He's not on the team, is he?
Who?
Jazz Peavy?
No. He's been long gone, man.
He's a guy that in like 5 years I'll still be like, man, Jazz Peavy, I think he's still on the team, right?
Man. Fond memories of Mr. Peavy holding down the fort. I think it was my final game in Camp Randall. There was a big old pass interference controversy against Northwestern, that they lost on with Jazz PV.
Oh,
That's all I remember. It's like this bullshit call, and then we lost.
who was the guy? There was the same time we were doing Gunter Island for the Packers. Like, there was another guy from the Badgers that we were doing that. Like, ironically, we were just anytime he was getting thrown at, he was like, "Oh, that's a completion."
Oh, shoot. I know what you're talking about, and I can't think of a name. For some reason, the only name I'm coming up with is Sojourn Shelton.
Oh, it's Figaro Island. That's
Figaro.
I don't remember his first name, but yeah, he was for whatever reason he ended up becoming the Darius Gunter light version.
Yeah, which I don't know.
That's probably not fair, but
yeah, right. I mean, yeah. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, I was talking to you about it. I sent a picture of you, or to you, of that 2014 Ohio State roster, and looking at it, it's like, man, I don't even blame the Badgers now for getting getting the brakes beaten off of them because of who's on that roster. It's stupid. It's like all these people that are taken in the first and second round.
Oh, yeah, like Zeke's on that team, and Michael Thomas is on that team, right?
Curtis Samuel's on that team.
Oh, who's playing defense? Which Bosa brother was it?
I think it was Joey Bosa.
Probably Joey Bosa. Oh, who's in the secondary? Was it
Malik Hooker?
Yeah, okay.
Marshawn Lattimore.
Yep. Eli Apple, is he out there?
Oh, yeah, he's out there. Eli Apple. Von Bell was on there.
A lot of NFL players.
A ton of NFL talent. So
Devin Smith was a good college player.
Yeah, he's on the Cowboys still.
Okay.
I can't.
We were so dumb going into that game, thinking like, "Whoa, well, Cardale Jones, they're down to their third quarterback. They're not going to be very good."
Yeah, right. Just had no
Conveniently
idea.
ignore the rest of the roster.
Right. You look at the rest of that roster construction, and it's like, man, they could put literally anybody back there, and they could have just run the Wildcat with Ezekiel Elliott and probably just scored 59 unanswered points.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, did I tell you? Did I send you the article? There was a ESPN thing where they did I don't know however many years, a 5-year thing where they talked to a bunch of people involved with that game, and it was just a retrospective on the 59-0 game. And there was somebody from Ohio State. I don't know who it was, but it was just yeah, we knew we had to beat them, but we weren't trying to kill them. We didn't know we were gonna do that to them.
Yeah.
They were even kind of surprised how much that was, and just I guess they didn't fully realize how that didn't kill the Badgers by any means long term, but it killed Gary Anderson and he left.
Yep. I mean, yeah, I remember you talking about this this retrospective thing, and it is pretty funny looking back on it. Seeing how it changed the landscape of Wisconsin football. Great memories.
The craziest thing was with they're talking to Justin Wilcox, who's the defensive coordinator now, the head coach at Cal. Or no, was it Dave Aranda? Might have been Dave Aranda.
Well, he's at LSU.
Yeah, he's at LSU now. Anyway, one of those two dudes. I think it was Aranda, but there was yeah, we were doing some stuff against Minnesota, and we were looking at the tape, and we were just I think we'll just do that again. And then we did that again, and it didn't work. And so we're oh shit, we're in trouble. So we tried changing it, and it didn't matter what we did. Nothing worked.
Man, what a totally disheartening feeling. Ah, shit.
Yeah. Oh, so anyway, speaking of looking at old college rosters, I was reading up on DeAndre Hopkins, and man, when he was in college, that Clemson team, that Clemson offense was really something to behold. You had Sammy Watkins, DeAndre Hopkins, Martavius Bryant, and Adam Humphries. Those are your 4 receivers.
Wow. It's a great NFL roster.
That's a pretty solid NFL receiving core. Then who's the running back? It was Andre Ellington, I think, who's a guy who played in the NFL for a little bit. Taj Boyd. You had some dudes on that defense or on the offensive line too. So it was just man.
Who was throwing the ball?
Yeah, Taj Boyd.
Oh.
who was I don't know, he's a good college quarterback. Not great, but
man, when you got 4 dudes like that, you don't need to be great. Just need to be okay.
2 legit number 1 receivers.
Man, that's nuts. That's a ton of people. Didn't realize that. It's really funny looking. I mean, we do this all the time where we look back on college rosters like that, and it's like, oh man, look at this. Whatever this team, Alabama, you could basically make an entire NFL roster out of this, like linebacking core, or the secondary, or blah blah blah.
The offensive line, you got all these NFL players and AJ McCarron.
Yeah,
John David
yeah.
Booty. No, not John David Booty. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good exercise to go through, look at these things.
That's our favorite thing to do is do that. My second favorite thing to do is go and look back at and rescore every single all these college games after wins get vacated.
That's right. It'll be who are we just talking about with vacating wins?
Well, it might be. Was I talking to you about Kansas?
Maybe it was Kansas.
In basketball, where it's like, oh, they might win the national championship this year and then give it right back.
Yeah, just kidding. We didn't win.
The funniest thing in that, too, that whole Kansas thing, is the football team also is implicated in that. So they got to give back their couple wins that they do have.
Yeah, right. Just like the embarrassing paltry number of wins.
Oh, you have to. All your wins are vacated, all like 3 of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's really funny when like that stuff happens because school. I mean, like, I don't think Louisville took down their like banner for.
Well, I just heard they're like, oh, they took the banner down, but they raised the banner the other night for the guy like who was most outstanding player of the tournament in 2013. They put up that banner.
Huh.
So the guy was still MVP, but so they got that banner up in the rafters, not the championship banner. But you know. Oh, so indirectly
keeping it there.
By winning that also implies that we won the national title. Wink, wink. Oh, did you watch any? I don't know if you saw. I was watching the Big Ten ACC Challenge a little bit this week. Michigan was playing Louisville, and I watched that kind of passively. But anyways, their logo at center court. Did you happen to see that?
No.
Man, it's the biggest goddamn cardinal with teeth I've ever seen. And he's just like dunking. It's actually kind of cool, but it's like too big and the teeth are too much. I know like Louisville gets roasted all the time for the bird with teeth, but this was excessive.
It's like the Charlie Kelly thing.
Yeah. Well, it's exactly what it is. Like overall, it's a cool center court logo because it's. Let me see if I can find it. And I'll send it to you. But yeah, it's like looks like a throwback logo where this big mascot's like got these Adidas shoes on, is dunking a basketball. That's their center court logo. So yeah, I don't know. I like that. Just not the teeth. But hey, here's the old team. Here's 2016 Penn State, the team that we played, or my last Big Ten championship game I went to when they lost. But you had Trace McSorley, but Chris Godwin, that's good.
Oh, I didn't realize he was on that team.
Yep. Miles Sanders and Saquon Barkley in the backfield, pretty good.
Oof.
Mike Gesicki, the tight end.
Yep.
He plays for the Dolphins. That's it. That's all that's worth.
Well, Chris Godwin's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Didn't realize he was on that team.
Yeah. I have a very vivid memory of him. Well, it's probably him. It must have been him. Just catching a deep ball right in front of my face in that corner of the end zone we're always in.
Man.
Which is like the lasting memory I have from that Ohio State game was just that happening every possession. Just the ball going up high into the Lucas Oil sky and then coming down in the other half of the stadium going crazy.
Right in the hands of an Ohio
time.
State guy.
That and the only other memory I have is well, I have a couple other memories. The other good, fun memory is us down in the tunnel before halftime, just like halftime.
I don't have a ton of memories from that game because I think, I remember that being in the tunnel and being like, why am I like, we're gonna go out there and shucking and jiving for people when we're like not, we don't have a chance to win.
It was the flattest, like right before halftime, the flattest like environment in the band I've ever experienced.
Yeah, totally. Like all these people aren't even heckling us because they know they won.
Like, yeah, they're just like
who cares? It's this fucking band. That I remember. It was the first time that we just like didn't play Cheers. Like we just stopped. We just sat down and like didn't do anything.
I forgot. We just gave up.
Yeah, which was like at the time it was like, oh, this is nice. It's been a really exhausting day. This is an exhausting game. I really don't want to fucking do anything. And I remember sitting down and just like sitting down with the drum there in the stadium seating and just watching the rest of this game. Wasn't having any of it. Yeah, I remember that. And then I remember like it's not Kenzel Doe, so it must have been like Natrell Jamerson or somebody, receiving a punt and just getting fucking laid out because he didn't fair catch it. Immediately just gets laid out. Remember Melvin Gordon getting just stuffed.
I remember at the very end of the game, the Badgers had the ball at like the 25-yard line, and everyone being pissed that they didn't kick a field goal.
Oh,
I was pissed at least.
Score some points.
Yeah, as just at the gun there at the very end, it was 59-3. I remember getting on the bus and getting our shit. I don't remember. This might have been the other one too. It might have been both of them, honestly. But we get back to the bus and we see our yellow meal sitting there. See our chicken sandwich from KFC. But or no, it wasn't from KFC. But we looked over and I think the other team, it might have been Penn State. I think it's the Penn State year, but they had Chick-fil-A because their bus is right next to ours. I'm like, oh hell yeah! Well, at least we're getting Chick-fil-A. And no, that was for them. We had KFC, which was cold and wet.
Psych.
Had my wet chicken.
Dude, those KFC chicken sandwiches were never very good.
It was food.
Yeah, right. Like you're really hungry, but does it? Yeah, you're right. I think it's a correct way to describe it is just a wet chicken sandwich.
The problem was like they had probably been sitting there the whole game. Like I get it. Like you gotta like prepare 350 some odd boxed dinner things. You got to do it a good little bit in advance. So I understand, but I'm still not happy about it.
Yeah, right. It still doesn't taste very good at the end of the day. This like lukewarm mac and cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy. Yeah, man. It's good to relive this memory every time the Badgers go to the Big Ten Championship. And until they win one, I mean, I think even if they do win one, it'll sit there forever as just like a testament to the ultimate failure that season.
Mm-hmm. The whole Big Ten Championship game, doing it twice, it's exciting because it's an important game, but the actual game or the actual whole day being in the band is just like, it's too much. It's a very, very long day. Like, I don't know how I'm sure the Rose Bowl day is longer. You can probably speak to that, but those were the longest 2 days of my band career were both Big Ten Championship games because like you got to get up wicked early for practice at like 6 Eastern time, which is like 5 Central. That's a sneaky time change going down there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's just that, and then you got pep band rally stuffs, and you're walking around, and then the game's at night, and you get on the bus and drive home for 6 hours, and you get home at like 7 in the morning.
Yeah, dude, that sleep after the Big Ten Championship is like one of the weirdest sleeps ever. Getting home at 7 o'clock in the morning, and then you just sleep on Sunday, pretty much all day.
Mm-hmm. And just kind of wallow in your grossness on the bus.
Yeah, right. And
that's you're just kind of sweaty and tired before, and then that's before people start throwing up everywhere. But
yeah, right before a viral breakout.
Still, source has not been has never been communicated to me if they ever figured out what the source of that was. I don't think anything was officially determined as the source, whether it was Firehouse Subs or the box meal we got before the game. One of the two.
Yeah. No litigation was filed.
Inconclusive. Ruling on the field stands.
Yeah. I don't know. Fun to look back on that. You're right, though. That day is super long, and it drags, and a lot of waiting around for things to happen in this game at night. Maybe that was why in 2014, when we were just getting blown out of that, I was happy that we were sitting in the seats because I was tired. I'm tired. I want to sit. But anyway, all right. Well, I think that's it for story time. Do we wrap up here?
So another Badger loss in the Big Ten title game. What did you say the spread was? 16.5?
I don't know if it's 16.5. It's at least 2 touchdowns though.
Give me Ohio. I like Ohio State in that one.
All right. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
We don't gamble though.
We don't gamble. I really actually haven't been gambling at all.
Oh, that's good. Me neither.
Like not even like daily fantasy. I don't know. I listen to podcasts about daily fantasy, but I don't do anything with it.
Well, that's my off-season project I was telling you a little bit about, is to develop a statistical model and be like a real nerd about it. So maybe next year.
You'll go from being last in the fantasy league to being first. The greatest comeback story that ever was.
Yeah. Well, you know what's actually going to happen is I'm going to sit down in a weekend here and like spend an hour looking at this shit and be like, this is too hard. I don't get it.
Or an even better story would be you sitting down, taking a look at it, really getting used to it, really getting familiar, and then you go into the season and you have these high expectations because you've really mastered all of this, and then you get blown out by somebody like Cordell who goes 11-2 off of nothing. Barely pays attention to his fantasy lineup.
What happens then is, it's the model is right. It's not the model. It's not the right model.
Oh, okay.
All models are abstractions of reality, and I just did not. I was too many parallel universes ahead.
Too many parallel universes ahead. Yeah, so we're all looking forward to that. We're looking forward to Sam becoming a wizard in the offseason. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Ignore the little hiccup that we had in the middle of this one. And we'll catch you next week.
Bye.